Hey guys, before I get into the video, I want to talk about an amazing app named Amino. Amino is a mobile community app, kinda like Pojo on Reddit, that covers various hobbies, games, and collectibles. There is a huge assortment of polls, blogs, and discussions for just about every topic you love. The best part about the app is that it is available for both iOS and Android. All you have to do is search Amino in your respective phone's Play Store and download the app. After that, you can make an account, so you will have access of thousands of communities, even the duel community, which I spend a lot of time in, or probably the Pokemon Go community, which I spend a good amount of time in as well. Make sure you follow me as well as get involved into the community. I might not have a lot of followers right now, but that's why I need your support.
Good evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of the Cali Effect. I am here with Wiener, the misdemeanor.
What's up?
It's actually Alex Wiener. But today we're going to be talking about Pot of Desires and a host of other cards in this video. Pot of Desires is a card that's been having a lot of controversy. Its effect is from, it is from the Dark Illusions.
Yeah, Dark.
And its effect reads, banish the top 10 cards from your deck face down. Draw 2 cards. You can only activate 1 Pot of Desires per turn. Now, I'm not necessarily for this card, I'm not against this card, but you have some pretty strong opinions about this card.
Well, I mean, I understand the theory behind it. You know, thinning your deck 12 cards, not bad. That's, you know, you draw 5, thin 12, now you're missing 17 cards from your deck. There's very little left.
Yeah.
You know, the chances of you seeing things that you want to see is good. But at the same time, banishing 10 cards, you're losing a lot of what
and
you
they're face down.
Yeah, and they're face down. Like, there's only 2 cards in the game that I can think of, at least, that recycle face down banish, which are Cyclone Lord Omega and Necroface.
Okay.
And, you know, Cyclone Lord Omega is actually good, but Necroface is...
Yeah, it requires a normal summon.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have any good stats. I mean, more often than not, the deck you're playing, it doesn't, like, put synergy into the deck, so...
Yeah, and, you know, I just think the risk of banishing cards you need is a lot... It's not worth it, because you're banishing 10 to only get 2.
Yeah.
And when you think of it, yeah, that makes your deck smaller, which in theory is good, but you're losing 10 of your resources, which in theory is bad.
Okay, here's my counter argument, because I can see why people really play this card. So hypothetically, we're going to put the Blue Eyes deck on a pedestal, because this, if you ask me, this is what it seems to be best at, because
Yeah,
the
people
Blue
are
Eyes can
running
run, you can run through of everything in Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is so bad for it not to be hit, so you can run through of everything, and you can banish stuff and not necessarily miss it, because you run through of everything. The reasoning behind it is, in Blue Eyes, there's a lot of search cards. There's Sage, there's Melody. You know, you basically can get, draw, or search into everything you need. So the theory behind it is that you search into whatever you need first, all the cards that are key to your, key essential pieces, and then you activate Pot of Desires to get you that +2, because, or that +1. Because normally when you're going to go from 4 to 6 cards, if you're opening up, or if you're going from 6 to 7 cards, it's going to give you what you need to go for that extra push for you.
Okay, so since we're talking about Blue Eyes, let's use an example from a locals a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
It was right after the sneak peek, so what was that, 2 weeks ago, whatever.
Yeah.
It was going to game 3. I won game 2, playing Mermail against Blue Eyes, and he made me go first. You know, I'm playing Mermail, Blue Eyes wants to go second, it's an OTK
Wait, you
deck.
play Mermail? I thought you played Blue Eyes. Oh, hey, Hunter's the best Mermail player ever.
Don't even make me.
No, just go.
Okay. So I was playing Mermail. He made me go first because Blue Eyes wants to go second, and you obviously want Mermail to go first.
Yeah.
I summon Ally Justice Quarantine.
Okay.
Which is a nuts card.
Yes.
Realistically, the only decent out to it is Chaos Max.
Yeah.
And at the time, that was before the Chaos Max variant was really...
Yeah, what was prevalent. By the way, if you guys would like to see my thoughts on the Ally of Justice, Cycle Reader, and Quarantine, you can always check down below in the description. I do have a video on it.
But yeah, so I went first. I opened up the Quarantine, and I normal summoned it. He couldn't play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Hey,
He kept setting his spellcasters, he kept setting his stones. At one point, he set the Ghost Ogre.
Hey, man, 1,800 defense, man. If you had 200 life points, and you attacked the 2 of them, you would have lost.
But the thing is he activated Pot of Desires and banished his only outs to the Quarantine.
If I remember correctly, there was a time where he resolved it twice. And I mean, if you wouldn't have won right then and there, he would have got that one, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but
I mean,
even that's the thing though. Is even with 2 Desires, it didn't help him.
Yes. And the logic behind that is that, let's say hypothetically, even if it was the top card, you were going to win anyways. It didn't matter. So if he does Desires and banishes all of his outs, I mean, congratulations, you lose anyways. But if he does activate the Desires, banishes 10 unnecessary cards, and then draws into his outs, I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's not like necessarily the best strategy, but if you're gonna lose, I mean, you can't lose, you know, from desires.
Let me ask another question though, because I already brought up, you know, you're losing 10 to only get 2. Would you give somebody $10 to get 2 back?
I mean, that's completely different.
No, that's
completely. You can't even use that. That's a horrible metaphor.
No, it's not, because it's like you're losing 10 things that
this
have.
Is a +2.
It's a -10.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Banishing cards from the top of your deck, so you can never see them again. It's not a neg.
Yes, okay.
It's deck thinning. We already know by the theory of the Cali effect, deck thinning is always advantage.
Not always. Deck thinning is good.
Okay.
But when you're thinning your deck in a way that ruins your ratios,
okay,
it's bad.
I mean, I'm sorry. Last time I checked, deck thinning normally isn't controlled. So, I mean, by that logic, you can say that Light Sworn is bad.
Okay, but I'd rather play a card like Upstart that just gets me 1. It might not have thinned as much, but I didn't lose anything.
And that's you know, that's a good thing. I mean, the thing that I really do dislike about Desire is like the card. The reason why I can't be for or against it is because the logic behind it. You have to play 3. Like, there's no in between. If you want to play this card, you're playing 3. I couldn't see myself playing anything less than 3 desires. If I could play 4, I'd probably play it. And the reasoning behind it is because I want to see it.
Yeah, you want to see it in your opening hand. That way you can go
2,
off and
you lose.
Yeah, opening 2. I mean, you can only resolve the 1, so that's 1 dead card.
Yeah, and that basically means the pot of desires paid for the other pot of desires that you read.
Well, let's look at it mathematically, though.
Yeah.
You have 40 cards in your deck.
Yes.
Sometimes you have more, but
hey, man,
generally
that 50
you have...
card Burning Abyss deck player, man.
Generally, you have 40.
Okay.
You draw 5.
Okay.
So let's assume now you're going second because you want to go second. We're in an OTK format. You have 34 cards left in your deck. You activate 1 pot of desires.
Okay.
That takes 12 more out of your deck.
Okay.
Putting you at what, 22? You can't even resolve another 2 desires if it comes to it.
Hey, man, look. Sometimes you gotta risk it for the biscuit.
But the thing is like...
I mean, but that is why a lot of big players have been playing more than 40 cards. Is because they don't want to banish certain cards with desires if they're playing 1-ofs. And on top of that, they also, you know, want to be able to activate and resolve their 3 pot of desires that they're forced to run.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know, I just don't think it's worth the trade-off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm not 100% for this card. But like I said, I'm not completely against it because I never want to give up advantage. And this card is a card that gives you advantage plus detriment. I mean, obviously, you guys on YouTube are going to say something different. I just don't want to hear anybody, oh, if you don't run this card, if you're bad. I mean, we're grown people. We should be past that logic right now. This card is not like, that's something that we both can agree on. This card is definitely not the godsend of every deck in the format.
No, not at all.
If you're playing multiple 1-ofs, I think that this card would probably not be in your best of strategy. But if you're playing something that plays 3 of everything, I mean, sometimes you don't even want to see 3 of that card. So
yeah, but I mean, it's not just like, it's not that one time. Like, I have more examples of times Pot of Desires.
Sure you have multiple examples of Pot of Desires.
I mean, in my opponent's game.
And I haven't had an example where somebody Pot of Desires and drawn into the outlet they've needed. More often than not, it does get banished. So
yeah, I
mean, but you gotta remember we're 2-3 weeks in.
Yeah.
And so the card is still out there to be judged. It's still to be tested. That's pretty much it that we can say about Pot of Desires, unless you have anything else to say.
No, I mean, not really, other than I still think it should be called Pot of Stupidity.
I mean, that's what the title of the video is named. So now we can get on to the next card. And the next card is named Coral Dragon. Now, Coral Dragon is a Synchro 6 that debuted into the Dark Illusions as well. It's also a tuner, so it leaves a lot open for a lot of other plays, such as Ultimate Azulkin with another level 6 monster. Its effect reads, once per turn, you can discard this card. Target 1 card your opponent controls destroyed. If this Synchro Summon card is sent from the fields to the graveyard, you can draw 1 card. You can only use this effect of Coral Dragon once per turn. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great card. I mean, especially me as a Mermail player, it's the best synchro to happen since Brio.
Yeah. Personally, if we were to go by best cards in the set, I think that this is pegged as either maybe like somewhere between the number 1 and number 2, and no, that wouldn't be Desires as the number 1 and number 2. You guys would be shocked to see what my number 1 card of this set is. I don't even think it's hollow. So, I have nothing but praise from this card. It fills so many requirements, it being a level 6, because level 6 are pretty bad right now.
Yeah.
The best level 6 besides Coral Dragon we have was Red Viper. And that card's like, I mean, it's not bad, but Coral Dragon's good.
No, there was a nuts play, you know, I can go on about the Mermaid plays, but I had somebody make this against me while they were playing BA. Because they were running the PK variant, so they had monsters other than their BAs.
Oh, okay.
And they teched in the one Ghost Ogre.
Oh, wow.
And they made the Coral Dragon using the Ghost.
3 pitches.
Yeah, they were able to pitch things, pop things, get grave effects, and it was nuts.
Yeah, that card's nasty. Like, easily. Anytime you guys can give us a Brio Reincarnate, and then that pays for itself when it's 6 in the grave.
No, it just you draw a card when it leaves.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, the card's pretty good.
And, you know, not to mention the fact that because it's a 6, you can use it to make Tzolk'in, since it's a tuner.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, it opens so many avenues. We have nothing but high praise for this card, but we can actually move on from this card because there's no real arguing this card. I mean, I guess you could say Synchros are a little dead, but, I mean, at the same time, what this card brings to the table more than often pays off for what tuner you're probably going to be running. On to the next card, we're going to be talking about one of the best cards in the set. Like, this could be number 1. This card, at first glance, you would think is, like, completely terrible. But once you start, like, letting its effects sink in, it becomes amazing. Blackwing Gofu the Vague Shadow says, cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand while you control no monsters. When this card is synchro summoned, or what does that say? When this card is special summoned from the hand, you can special summon 2 Vague Shadow tokens. Winged Beast, Dark, level 1, 0 attack, 0 defense. They cannot be tributed or used for synchro material. You can banish this card. You can banish this card and one or more tuner monsters you control, then target one Blackwing synchro monster in your graveyard whose levels equals to the totals of the banished monsters, special summon them. And if you do, it is treated as a tuner. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, half of that effect is completely useless. Like, it's irrelevant to a lot of players. I mean, unless you're playing Blackwing still in 2016, which just... I'm not. That's a lot of people on my YouTube channel for some reason. The number one thing about Kofu is that it's a level 5 tuner that can special summon itself when you control the monsters, and you can tell us how amazing that is.
Okay, so in tournament the other day, I had an extra deck Monarch player summon this out on me. Then he used his normal summon to bring out the Eidos, tributed that off for the Kuraz. Kuraz popped the 2 tokens, he got to draw 2. He drew into Pantheism Prime. He ditched the Prime with the Pantheism, drew his 2, searched the Tenacity off the Pantheism, summoned the Prime, and used Gofu to make a Tzolk'in. Then he set, like, I think it was a Stormforth or something, brought out a Crystal Wing, and his end board was Tzolk'in, Crystal Wing, 2 back throw, a Kuraz, and he had an Ether in his hand.
Did you lose that game?
Yeah. That game was demolished. And then game 2, he used it in a way that I usually never saw. Like, when you think about Extra Deck Monarchs and the things they bring out with Tzolk'in, you're usually thinking either Crystal Wing or the Scarlet.
Yeah.
But
or sometimes Black Rose Moon.
Yeah. What my opponent did, though, was when he summoned the Gofu and he made the Crystal Wing off the Tzolk'in, whatever, blah, you know, he used the Tzolk'in, then went into Michael and banished my Face-Up Master for strength.
So that was an out to prevent.
Yeah. And that
Did you win that match?
No, I lost that match, and it was literally because Goku just made him such easy Tzolk'ins.
Yeah.
It's either, you know, he either banishes something that I really need, he Crystal Wings me when I need to activate an effect, or, you know, I play decks that use level 5 or higher monsters.
Yeah, so
I can't exactly attack into his Crystal Wings either.
That makes sense. Okay, so, I mean, there was a Metalfoe player, really, he's not playing Yang Zing, he's playing Metalfoe. It's straight up pendulums, and this card is completely nutter butters. Okay, so what you do is you special summon this card, you get your 2 tokens, you set on Metalfoe scale, you destroy the tokens, special set the fusion card. From there, you fuse into the Metalfoe 5
Armored.
Yeah, and it's practically a free Crystal Ring from there. You can use your other Metalfoe scale to blast the other tuner to set another spell card because, you know, you're that much swag. Ultimately, Blackwing Gofu brings a lot to the table, but we thought we couldn't. While we did think, oh, the tokens are, you know, bad. Yeah. They can't be tributed, they can't be used for single summon, but they can still be destroyed for card effects. Yeah. So I mean, the card is just really, really nutty, and extremely good at making boards that we never would imagine. Like I said, you'll probably, unless you're a Blackwing player, you won't use that second effect. But that special summon when you control no monsters.
I mean, even if, you know, you're put in a tough position, it's a wall.
Yeah.
You know, you put up 3 walls that they now have to get over.
Yeah.
Which waste their resources, it could potentially waste their attacks.
I don't know, you might not want to do that.
I mean, it works.
That Blue Eyes card, that's 4,000 attack.
Okay, yeah,
he's still a thing. So
that's
I mean, like, unless you're playing against that, you know, if you're not playing against that, then you might be able to set 3 monsters. But if you're playing against what is he called again? Chaos Max.
Chaos
Yeah, unless you're going against Chaos Max, don't do that. Or if you're going against Chaos Max.
It is a decent wall in like other situations.
Yeah, in other situations.
You know,
I mean,
if you top deck that, you're backed into a corner. You know, at least gives you another turn to try to recover.
You definitely have a point right there. And then on top of that, it's just such a good card. I mean, I think that this card would have to be a secret. Had it, you know, if the tokens could be used for a secret or something.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's free 6s and 7s. That would be ridiculous. But on to the next card, because we already know Gofu was like just savage. Cosmic Cyclone, and this is actually where we have a disagreement in this card, because personally, I don't think this card is that good. It's a fact reads, pay 1,000 life points, target one spell or trap card on the field, banish it. That's it. It's basically a Mystical Space Typhoon with a life cost. And you can tell them why you
reason I think it's good is in situations, since it's a quick play, you know, quick plays in general usually are good.
Quick plays are awesome.
If my opponent activates a Pantheism, that's technically faceable on the field until it resolves.
Yeah.
So I can Cosmic Cyclone, and I'll gladly pay 1,000 to banish that Pantheism. Yes, they're still going to get the draw to, but it stops them from banishing it to Surge, which further extends their plays. Other situations, you know, like Monkey Board, since the effect doesn't activate when it's activated, they play the Monkey Board, you Cosmic Cyclone, you banish their 1 of Monkey Board, and that could really, you know, mess up their plays. They might not be able to search the Joker or the Pensork or anything they need in order to.
Even if it did activate,
their
you know, you can Cyclone it.
Yeah, well, yeah, because continuous spell.
It has to be face.
But it's the fact of it gets rid of problem cards, and even though it's not like a game-winning card, it's something that really messes up your opponent. And the best advice I've ever got in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is you play to mess up your opponent, not to benefit yourself.
I've actually, you know what, on a completely separate level, I've actually did the exact opposite. From recent studies, the best decks of the format, I guess, well, even Monarch, because Monarch, they don't necessarily hinder you, they just do what they do.
Yeah.
And doing what they do just happens to hinder you. Decks that have been, you know, better at, you know, making you plus or giving you advantage as opposed to hindering their opponent have always been good. But that's always for another discussion.
Yeah.
The reason why I think Cosmic Cyclone isn't so great is because you named 2 really good decks, don't get me wrong, but they all can fall under the exact same out. You can main Cosmic Cyclone and banish, you know, their Sky Irises, banish your Monkey Boards if they don't have Sky Iris, banish this, or you can just side deck cards like Anti-Spell Fragrance and win the game anyways. Cosmic Cyclone doesn't win you the game against monsters, period. It might win you against Pendulum, but banishing sometimes their domain, you know, because you need to now. Sometimes banishing their Pantheism, which is a really nice play, even though it is recyclable. It doesn't necessarily stop them from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So my only counter argument is that I'd rather play cards that prevent them from playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
And this is an example I literally just thought of, though. Think of it from like Metal Foe aspect as well, because Metal Foe is a very like decent deck right now.
Oh, it's a very good deck. I think that deck is extremely underrated.
Metal Foe Fusion, more often than not, people run as a 1-of because it recycles itself.
And if you banish
if you banish that, then that really like sets back their place, because now they usually only run the 2 combination, maybe the 1 counter. So now you're limiting how many times they can use their Metal Foe effects, where normally they can use it infinitely because the fusion keeps going back.
And then you could say it hits a bigger range because it's pretty good against Cosmo Town.
Yeah, you banish. I'd pay 1,000 to banish the Cosmo Town.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't destroy; it just vanishes.
Yeah, but this is my counter argument again. Even against Metal Foe, Anti-Spell Fragrance is still better.
Yes, but the biggest complaint, at least that I hear in the competitive community, is I didn't see my sides. That's why, you know. Why side in 2-3 anti-spell when you could side in 2-3 anti-spell and a couple Cosmic Cyclones? It's just another out.
Yeah, you do have a point in that aspect. I mean, ultimately, I wouldn't be siding in Anti-Spell Fragrance as I'm going second anyways.
Yeah.
So if I'm going first, Cosmic Cyclone might be a card that I would want to side in, because while it might not hit the Pantheism right then and there on my turn, it still could hit the domain. It still could hit, their scales, or it still could be disruptive even on my turn if I'm going second. So you do have a really good point right there. Once the next card, we actually talked about it, is Metal Foe's Fusion. Now let me scroll this down. And basically, Metal Foe's Fusion is like probably one of the best fusion cards we've ever had. It says fusion summon 1 Metal Foe's Fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or your side of the field. If this card is in your graveyard, you can shuffle into your deck, draw 1 card. You can only use the effect of Metal Foe's Fusion once per turn. Pretty straightforward. So I guess we could talk more about Metal Foes as an archetype and Fusion if you would like to, because like I said, the card is it's pretty much there.
Yeah,
So
no,
it's
and
not worth
I really like to compare it to Blue Layer because, you know, it's that card that when it goes to the grave, you shuffle it back, but it's got that added +1.
Mhm.
You know, you can search it by setting it directly from your deck, and then since it is a normal spell, you can activate it to turn it set. You know, it's not like a quick play or a trap where you're gonna have to wait. So you can sit there and literally set it, use it, get a big monster out on board, which if you're using the Gofu, you make it to Zolkin, get a Crystal Wing, and then you get to draw a card. That
Yeah.
just seems a little busted. There's no aspect of that combo where you're negative,
Yeah.
you know?
The crazy thing is that Metal Foes as an archetype period, they seem like a very much better version of Ignites.
Yeah.
A very more balanced because Ignites at their height could FTK you with stupid cards.
Yeah, with the Royal Magical Library.
Yeah, they're in the Lava Volcane and all that other stuff, and the Phoenix Bombard. There's so many stupid FTKs with that deck.
Yeah.
But it seems like a more balanced version, but also a better version because it allows you to interact with certain cards that you normally wouldn't interact. Like, for example, like you said, Gofu.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, if Metal Foes didn't exist, Gofu would be a worse card. I'm not saying it'd be a horrible card,
It wouldn't be horrible, but
but
it
it'd
wouldn't
definitely
be
be a worse
great.
card.
It's the fact of you summon the Gofu, you pop the token, now you set the fusion,
Yeah.
and you can go off on these plays,
Yeah.
and you just plus off it because not only do you get your fusion out, you get to draw a card. You didn't lose any resources in the process.
I mean, this card makes Yang Zing's good, so I mean, I can't even be against it. Like, not this card, but this deck.
Yeah.
It makes Yang Zing's good, so I can't be against it whatsoever. I'm gonna be like all for it because I still believe in the master race somewhere down the line. On to the next card. I think it's another Metal Foes card.
Yeah, Ball Flame.
Oh, Ball Flame. That's, I guess, the archetype that we were talking about. As you guys can see, it's once per turn. Target one face-up card you control, which I didn't know it was special. Target one face-up card you control until like yesterday. Destroy it, and if you do, set a Metal Foes Spell Trap. For the people that are wondering why does this work with Yang Zing's, is because Metal Foes Vol on Flames, Destruction, and set happens at the same time. It says, and if you do. So it means that it has to resolve that effect, which means that your other monsters will not miss time.
Yeah,
You can probably say it better than I can.
Yeah, so essentially, like, if you pop a Yang Zing, you're gonna set the spell
All in one time.
all in one, like, chain, and then the Yang Zing monster's gonna activate in a separate chain.
Yeah, but the biggest thing is that when we say cards miss timing, quote unquote, because that's not the correct term to say it, but cards cannot activate their effects. It normally is a win, blah blah blah.
When
effect.
slash
If,
hit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when it'll miss timing. And the reasoning behind that is if the last thing to happen isn't its destruction, it will miss timing. With Ball Flame, it happens at the exact same time as the destruction and setting, so it is the last thing to happen.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. There's Psychic Fire monsters, which is extremely interesting. Emergency Teleport seems to be pretty bad with them, so that's
Well, yeah, there's only 2 of them that are under level 3, and
you
there's
don't
no
want
reason
some.
you want them on the field. They're better scale monsters.
not want to summon these guys. Well, except for Ball Flame. I actually want to game because
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a big beater.
yeah, I went in the time, Pendulum summoned him, skill driven my opponent. He couldn't get over it. It was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
A card that you wanted to talk about if you want to read its effect is Scapegoat.
So, Scapegoat, it's a level 1 zombie tuner flip effect. When it's flipped, you can special summon any number of Black Sheep tokens.
What do you mean? What do you mean Black Sheep tokens? What are you trying to say?
You know what I'm trying to say.
All right, man. You gotta watch yourself.
They're a zombie type dark, level 1, 0 attack, 0 defense, but that's not the important part. The important part is I see this as somewhat of a better Scapegoat.
It's a tuner.
Not only is it a tuner, so if you flip it, you can sink into some 5s, which making an Armades in certain matchups is always good. I can't really think of any other, like,
Formula
great
Synchron,
5s.
Armades, Hyper Librarian, Tatsunoko, what else? Armory Arm, Baumung, Herald of Pure Light or Arclight.
Arclight, yeah.
I just named 7 off the top of my head. Card's pretty nutty when you can make anything from 5 and under. Like,
Yeah,
that's
and
pretty good.
it's not
and
just
still
that.
have tokens left over depending
Yeah,
on.
no, and that's not even the great part about it. The thing that I like is you can actually tribute these tokens if you need to.
Yes.
Scapegoat has the the stipulation of you can't tribute them for a tribute summon, which, I mean, you can get rid of that. I remember when Toons were running it because you tributed to special.
Yeah, it's not tributing for a tribute summon. It's tributing
Which, there were ways around it, but
Cannon Soldier, man. That Cannon Soldier Scapegoat, man.
But
Tribute for 2k damage.
this just seems a lot better because not only can you go into the synchro plays, you have now resources to tribute. It is the tuner, so
Here's my only knock on this card. Scapegoat, it has the best symbol in the game. As we already talked about, quick plays are easily the best symbol. There's no better symbol in the game than quick play. Scapegoats has the worst symbol in the game. Being a flip effect,
Yeah.
Virtually, you might as well not play it most of the time when you're playing flip effect cards.
Flip effect cards aren't really that great.
Yeah.
But if you're playing a slower deck, there are always those anti-meta decks that are, you're going to attack, they're going to flip a Quaking on you, and they're going to flip that, they're going to flip...
You've seen Quaking too many times, haven't you?
They're going to flip that on their next turn, go into some weird plays, Like, I could see this being done in an awkward, like, demise variant deck.
Yeah, I mean, like, the card, like I said, isn't bad. Being a tuner just, like, helps its case, like, 5 million times more. If it weren't a tuner, we probably wouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah, it's just the fact of it's very easy synchro plays. Because, I'm trying to think of, like, a good way you can make a Trish out of it, because you sync into the Tatsunoko, that's a level 3.
And
now,
you still have
two tokens. You still have 2 tokens left, which go to 5. So now if you have any level 4, if you have any level 4 in your hand, that's a Trish, just off that 1 card.
Yeah, that's a pretty good 1 card, or 2 card Trish.
Well, yeah, 2 card Trish.
Yeah, so that's not that bad. The next card we want to talk about is named Fairy Tale, and shout out to the anime, I guess. Fairy Tale, get it? Fairy Tale looks very reminiscent, if you ask me, to like Ghost Ogre, Snow Rabbit, Ghost Reaper. It looks like one of those type of cards. Maybe there's a type of
it reminds me more of Ghost Trick Doll.
Same thing. They all look weird. And its effect reads: if this card is normal summon or special summon, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to face-down defense position. During either player's turn, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 7 other cards from your hand, field, and/or graveyard. Special summon this card. It has 1,850 attack. I like the card. And banishing 7 doesn't seem like my cup of tea, but its effect is Tsukiyomi. It's a stronger Tsukiyomi. It's reusable like Tsukiyomi. It's a light, so that helps. It's a spellcaster, what helps. It has like everything going for it. Is it good right now? Hell no. No. But it's it's good.
Well, I mean, this is again one of those weird tech choice kind of moments. I had somebody summon it on me while they were playing Blue Eyes.
Really?
Yeah, they flipped one of my monsters face down and swung into it with Chaos Max.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I don't ever see you like banishing 7 for that second effect. But I mean,
it's a full moon.
Hypothetically, if you're gonna lose, and that card was gonna save you, I'd banish 7 to save myself because I was gonna lose anyways. So I mean, like.
But no, it was like I ended my turn with like a 0 defense monster on board.
And he got.
Yeah, because I mean, getting the Chaos Max doesn't waste your normal.
Yeah.
He just advanced Ritual Arts, he gets it out of his deck with the Melody.
Yeah.
And then he normal summoned that for one of my monsters face down, the 0 defense one, and swung for 8k, and at that point,
there's nothing you can do.
Not really anything.
Fairy Tale is definitely like a very interesting card in itself. The next card, this is a card you said you never read.
Yeah, no, I don't even know what this thing does.
Okay, this card's interesting, and I think I talked about it on my life page. Harrison, pretty good guy. And it's Spiral Super Agent. It's a level 4 warrior, so it's searchable by reinforcement of the army. 1900 attack. If this card is in your hand, you can declare 1 card type, monster, spell, or trap. Reveal the top card of your opponent's deck, and if you do, special summon this card if it is the declared type. If this card is special summoned by effect of a Spiral card, you can target 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls destroy. You can only use the effect of Spiral Super Agent once per turn. It's, like I said, it's a different card. I get knowledge of looking at my opponent's top of the deck. If I get it right, I can special summon him. And then if he's special summoned, I can destroy spells or traps.
Yeah.
He's 1900 attack. He's 4 stars. Hypothetically, I reveal, I call it wrong. I have no other way. I can just normal summon him. He's 1900 attack.
Yeah.
From what we know, the Spiral Super Agent are based off of 007, am I correct?
I think it was Metal Gear Solid, something like that.
Yeah, it's one of those spy things. So there's definitely more support on its horizon. It seems like a pretty good staple for the deck, and like I said, it's information. How do you feel about this card?
I don't know. The effect of being able to target a spell trap and destroy it seems a little lackluster, because it's not really going to do much except for the pendulum matchup.
Yeah.
We're in a format where there aren't really many traps,
But there we go. You said we're in a format.
Yeah.
This card is for the future.
True.
This card is definitely for the future. I can't see any other way because we only have like 3 cards. 4 cards, and like. That you look at them and you're like, okay, there's something missing to make all of this work. Possibly we'll get a card that says, look at their opponent's top of their deck, and then that's like a free special summon or something like that.
Yeah.
Possibly their field spell card does that. But regardless, I mean, from what I'm seeing, all of the cards seem to work around this one guy and special summoning him. So, you say Dragon Spirit, not Dragon Spirit White, what's the other one? Effect monster.
Which one?
The 2500 attack one.
That's Dragon Spirit White.
Okay, yeah, Dragon Spirit White. He's not that great of a card. Like, effect-wise, he only banishes spells or traps. But, I mean, he puts in work.
Yeah, but I mean, that's why you don't run 3 of it.
Yeah, but he still puts in work. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things that isn't necessarily looked for, but having it could be a huge advantage in some certain matches like you said.
Yeah. I mean, you know, again, back to the whole getting information thing. If this turns out to be one of those slower decks, one of those more grind game decks,
Yeah.
I can see you running cards like Mind Crush, because now you know the next 3 cards in your deck.
You're
and
right.
that could really, you know, ruin the
You're
progression of the game.
right. That one, Mind Crush, would be nasty.
Yeah.
This card would be hella nasty. Yeah, this card has potential.
Yeah.
On to the last card we're going to be talking about. Panda, 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 panda.
What does this thing even do?
I don't know. I got broads in Atlanta. Wrecking it with the record panda.
Is that vanilla in its basket?
Yeah. Panda, panda, panda. It's not even a panda, it's a raccoon.
No,
Doesn't make sense.
It's a red panda.
It's a red panda?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I don't know
Look
what
it
it
up.
is. Looks good. Alright, I get cards in Atlanta. Credit cards in a scammer. Number 86. That's a raccoon. Homie. Panda. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of The Cali Effect. I really hope you guys enjoyed us doing a set review. If you guys would like to see more of Wiener, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, and also post down below in the description. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.